Hello, my name is Justin, and I am the host of a new podcast called My Train of Thought. Welcome, and we'll get started in just a moment.
All aboard!
Great. So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. I'd like to welcome you all to my new podcast first off. I really appreciate any new listeners. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it fun. We're going to talk about whatever I decide I want to talk about. That's going to be the whole theme of this podcast. So I appreciate all of your time, and hopefully you guys have some enjoyment. I know I will, especially as we get in over the next couple episodes. I'm going to run out of things to talk about, and so I'm sure I'm just going to start, going off on random tangents. So I appreciate you guys. Today, I came up with a couple of different topics. One was talking about Wizards of the Coast. So I have been a long time D&D player. If you're not familiar with Wizards of the Coast, they are the people who run D&D now. They also run Magic the Gathering. That is the largest tabletop game out there right now. So I've been playing those for years. I have also realized that Wizards of the Coast has a big issue. That being is they're run by Hasbro. So very, very money hungry. They've done a lot of things over the last couple years here that have just kind of tanked their reputation, and that kind of sucks for a couple different reasons. But I really like D&D. I want to be able to play D&D, but I just don't have it in me when they hyper monetize and have kind of screwed the fan base, and so it kind of to a large degree ruined my friends and I's play group because D&D was a staple for us for a very long time, and nowadays it is not. And the reason for that being because we moved away. So I'll get into that. But my opinion has just changed, and it's because of Wizards going after money. So what originally happened is Wizards of the Coast. So D&D a long time ago had what was called the Open Gaming License. This was there to open up the game to third-party content creators. So, you have 5th edition D&D. People can use those rule sets to make little expansions, similar to DLC. If you're not familiar with the tabletop landscape, these little expansions essentially allow you to essentially create any sort of environment world you want to do, and you can run in it, and you can publish that, and you can even get paid for it. I know a couple people who have gotten paid for their creations, their third-party creations, and it all goes off of the 5th edition D&D and stuff like that. So what happened is Wizards wanted to monetize, and Hasbro wanted to monetize D&D. They've been seeing a lot of good success from monetizing Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering has been a huge disappointment recently because of how much they've been pushing product and stuff like that. And so, Wizards of the Coast wanted to do it with D&D. So what they did is they kind of backed out of the Open Gaming License. They made a new one, and they started saying, if you make X amount of money, you are going to owe us X amount of profit. Kind of targeting things like Critical Role. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's a podcast that essentially started a number of years ago with a bunch of voice actors that set up a D&D game. And after some time, they decided to put it on Twitch, and they started a whole movement. And they made a lot of money off of that. So Wizards of the Coast wants to monetize that. So every third party thing kind of got caught up in that, because what if another one, goes popular, gets millions of dollars? So Wizards of the Coast took away the gaming license, changed it, and there was a huge backlash. I know I certainly didn't like that. Half of the fun of D&D is just planning it, and seeing all of these third-party creations is just so engaging and helps keep the community alive. I I just I didn't want to really give my money to a company that was just gonna try and take and take and take. And I talked to my play group, and we decided that we were going to move to a new system. Um, and we decided Pathfinder would be that for us. If you're not familiar with Pathfinder, it's essentially D&D 3.5, which is a bit more rules intensive, um, with a bunch of new stuff tacked on top. They recently came out with Pathfinder Second Edition and a bunch of books for it and a whole bunch of material. And they actually have an open gaming license that it's actually not called the open gaming license. It's called something else, but it's essentially the same thing. Um, People can create third party stuff. So I went ahead and I overreacted a little bit, and I probably spent about 300-400 bucks just buying a bunch of Pathfinder books, all second edition. And part of me likes that I did that, even though right now I'm not playing Pathfinder at all, and I don't know if I will continue to play Pathfinder. But I like these books because when I was a kid, I used to look through them, and it's like you looking into an old history book, like an old manual for how to sword fight. You see all these diagrams and images, and it's like you're looking into a reference book of history, and you know it puts you in that place, in that mindset. These are just reference books. You're not really supposed to read one from cover to cover. You're just supposed to look at, oh, if you're a player, you look at your class, you look at the stuff your class gets, you go look at the items, you buy your items, all that sort of stuff, and then you have your you know your character. But you know and as a DM, I'm certainly not going to read every single monster that's in there. I just look up the ones that I want to use. But it's so there's all these rules to each monster. It's all these, there's flavor and there's lore, and it's like, if I'm old and I don't have anything to do, I can just open one of these books, and it's like instant nostalgia. Um, and so I really like that. But anyway, I bought $400 worth of Pathfinder books, and Pathfinder's really rules intense, and we kind of bounced off of it. I bounced off of it as a DM. I like to focus on the more personal story aspects of D&D, and I do enjoy the combat, but I don't want it to take an hour, and I don't want you to have to know exactly how far you can jump, and all these like all these other different little factors. And Pathfinder, while it is really good on the customization, it is really rules intensive. Is very not grindy, gritty when it comes to the rules. So I we kind of didn't continue that, unfortunately. But I wanted to go back to D&D 5e. I still do, part of me, but I can't go back to Wizards because they've been screwing over every single franchise they have. At least to my perspective, they have. I play Magic the Gathering as well, or I used to. I don't anymore. And when I got in, they weren't really pushing product nearly as hard as they are right now. You know, it's at the end of 2024, and I think like 5 sets of Magic the Gathering came out, and then a bunch of other, all these different things, and it's just, these companies have kind of betrayed my my trust. So I I don't know. It's just I want to be able to play TTRPGs. I want to be able to um, experience those old experiences I used to have with my friends. I have so many different stories, but I just don't feel the motivation because I just don't have a system that's lightweight enough for me to pick up pretty easily, get my friends going. I dream of a day where I'm playing with my friends in the afternoon and it's a beautiful day and we're not having to sit there and look through a rule book every fucking 10 minutes. Um, and to a degree, we kind of got that with uh, Dungeons and Dragons, like I was saying, but even then, sometimes it was still a little rough. Maybe I should just move to a system where you roll a d20 if you want to do something. But then that's limiting in its own ways. So I don't know. I'm not really sure where the answer is, but I do know that I want to find a new game. So anyway, this is my first train of thought. It will become more structured later. I really appreciate you joining, and hopefully you'll come back for more. Goodbye.